a sad thing. And with me looking into everything, I don't understand why the people from our government are wearing both pins on their lapel. Why are they wearing a American flag with a Jerusalem? And this is where I found out this is the flag of Jerusalem, flag of Israel, the Israel flag. Hey Sarah, how you doing? Uh, there's no sound. Oh, okay, all right. Thank you. But I don't understand why the people of our and I didn't understand it, like I said, from when I first noticed they were wearing this other flag, what the flag stood for and why they wore it. And then with all the shit that's coming up now, like I said, I looked into it, and I'll bring up a story my grandmother told me when I was younger, and she actually grew up in Germany and went through World War II over there. And I you know, like what's going on here in America now, we're opening our hearts, we're opening our arms. Hey, come in, which is bullshit because history always repeats itself. And knowing that when the Jewish, let me rephrase this, when the European Jewish people started to go into Jerusalem, it took the actual Jewish peoples from Jerusalem's homes, took their property, took their land, overrode them, is when Israel first formed. Did you catch what I said? It was the European Jewish people went into the actual Jewish people who have more of a bloodline to Abraham, who led the Jews to freedom to their promised land. Remember that. The European Jews are stealing the land of the actual Jews. They are taking their land. They are starving them out. They are killing them off. It is another whitewash of history. You got to understand that. So now we come from 1947, I think it was 1949, Israel stood behind, no, maybe 1950. My brain's going all over the place. But it was in the early days of Israel being formed that they backed and supported Hamas because they needed them to help to protect what is now Israel. Well, as we'll keep calling them the European Jews, kept coming into Israel and stomping on the rights of the actual Jews who followed Abraham to the promised land. Hamas finally, I think it was the 70s, started to stand up and fight for the Palestinians. So we had Israel supporting Hamas till the 70s. And when they finally got sick of their land being stolen, their people being killed, their women being raped, their children being raped, they stood up and started to fight against Israel. And that's when Israel was like, okay, no, we can't have this. We've got to claim Hamas as a terrorist state. And yes, I'm going to use all the words that will probably get me banned, get me in trouble. And this is why I said this may cost me. Because this is exactly what happened. We have people come in, kill, rape, molest, steal land, and then claim to be the rightful and honest ones of these. But we have to remember, and my followers from way back know that I have Native American beliefs. I'm not really into the Bible, but the stories come over from all different religions, and they converse into what makes the Bible melody. So we can't take the fact that it's the promised land to the Jews. It's the promised land to Jesus's followers, to 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 his followers. If you are my children or whatever it says, I'm going to bring you to the promised land, and all that. But the thing is, you can't go to the promised land and kill off the one. And the other thing is, it was the Jewish people who turned Jesus over to the Romans and tried to have him killed at first. And it's the same ones that are claiming. Well, actually, let me change that, because as I pointed out, we have a couple different classes of Jews, a couple different makes. We have the actual ones that followed Abraham, which now we know were the Palestinians, the ones that we now call Muslims. They were the ones that turned Jesus over. The Jews that are fighting in Jerusalem, I mean Israel, they're made up of what they call Western and European Jews. They came from different countries, and they're what form Israel. They are what we have the Ben Shapiro's. Okay, that is a point blank, a kick ass example for those of us here in America. That's a kick ass example of what a Western Jew is. Ben Shapiro. I will bow down and kiss ass and lick ass for Israel. I'm sorry. I'm going to bow down, kiss ass, and lick ass for fucking America. I'm not putting another country first. That's my opinion. And the other part of the whole thing is, like I was saying, at the end of World War II, we had all the European Jews, and they were even sent over there from Africa. They were sent there from Germany, France, Europe, Russia. At the same time, they were being sent there from all these different countries. And we look at how these people act, and I can actually kind of understand it, because if I was in a community and I had people act like they're above everything, they're above every law. Oh, we're God's children. No, we're all God's children. We are all the great Creator's children, which is the Native American belief, the Creator. We are all the great Creator's children. So, with all that being said, you can't expect for all of us to fall into the Western and European Jewish style, which has been taken away from the ones who followed Abraham. Now, with me putting that history out there, I'm going to come to the part that you guys are going to call me whatever you want to fucking call me. Netanyahu is no better than him. None whatsoever. He is killing off a race, and he's doing it for his own good, his own beliefs. He is committing genocide to the highest level there is. He should be brought up on crimes against humanity, and that's my honest belief. Because not only is he killing off Jerusalem, he is killing off Western media, journalists that go against him. He is paying people here in America to speak on behalf of Israel, which is totally wrong. Anybody can have their own belief. I don't care. I don't care what your belief is. But don't try to force your belief on someone. Okay, so here we have Netanyahu doing what he wants to do, and Mr. Donald Trump, whose favorite uncle was a CIA agent who was involved in the Tesla, when Tesla died, involved with the missing test of Tesla. So yes, Donald Trump, we all know that your family goes back in the history with a fucking deep state government. Don't try to lie to us, people. Don't try to fucking fool us, people. We know. We know you were involved with the fucking government. And a lot of us did catch that movie, The Adventures of Pluto Nash, where in the 80s, in the movie, you lost to Hillary Clinton and you had to build the fucking settlement on the dark side of the moon. Wait a second. You lost to Hillary Clinton in the 80s in a movie? How did that happen? And like I said, history repeats itself. Not only that, but they have to tell us what's going to happen. But they didn't count on the American people standing up and voting Trump in and Hillary losing. Once again, the name of that movie is The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Good movie. Yeah, it's actually pretty fucking funny. But like I said, Donald Trump lost to Hillary Clinton. And if you investigate, his uncle that he called his favorite uncle was in the room across the hallway in the New Yorker when Tesla died. He was one of the ones that went into the room and recovered all the checks. So Donald Trump's family has been invested in the federal government since we know of Tesla's death. Another thing a lot of people don't think about is that same uncle that was in the CIA was in the CIA when JFK was killed. Why would Donald Trump, is his uncle's name mentioned in the fucking files that he said I'll bring forward? You have to think. He's as corrupt as all of them. I do not trust any government figure. I don't care who they are. I don't care what they say. So that's just something they have to think about. And I'm just throwing this, like everybody knows, I just throw this information out there and you can look it up yourselves. You can deep dive into it. You can find out what you want. You can figure out what you want. But if his uncle was there when Tesla died in the New Yorker, which was the hotel in New York, which they actually believed that he had a Tesla tower in the top of the building. When the poor guy, I mean, that poor dude, he had so much shit going for him, but he was broke. He was like most of us Americans are now, just living day to day and taking things the way you can. But now, here's the fucked up part. And it's another part that people are going to hate me for. Donald Trump kneeled down, kissed the wall, bowed to the fucking wall, kissed fucking whoever's hand, licked whoever's fucking ass, and got videotaped doing it. That's how Israel owns the politicians here in America. Come over, kiss the wall, pledge to us Let us videotape you doing the wrong thing to the little kid. We'll hold them videotape, and now you better do what we need to do. Because I'm going to tell you now, Israel is not a true ally to America. If we got attacked, do you think Israel would be here? Fuck no. They only want the money and the support that America does. We fought in Afghanistan because of Israel. We fought in fucking Iran because of Israel. We fought in fucking Iraq because of Israel. Every war that we fought over there in the Middle East was driven by Israel. If you look back and you think about it, oh, Saddam the Insane has weapons of mass destruction. Where did that intel come from? That intel came from Israel. This APAC, whatever the hell you want, AIPAC, however you want to pronounce it, needs to be stopped. If anybody gets supported or funded in our government by a foreign government, it should delete them from running for our government. They should be listed as an agent of another country. They should not even be allowed to hold office. Because the minute that they're being paid by another country, they're supporting that other country before they support America. Even knowing that say that they're here for America. That's just my point of view. And then these people like, I'll bring his name up again, Ben Shapiro, who believes that those of us who don't think Israel first is the right way to go. No, man, we're America first. I was born here in Bath, Maine. I was raised after my father got out of the military here in fucking Maine. I was an Army brat. Everything I learned, everything I loved, everything I did was here in America. If you guys love Israel so much, take your fucking ass over to Israel, buy a piece of property, and plant fucking roots there. Don't tell us that we're, you're anti-Semitic. No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I know Jews, and I love some of the Jews that I know. I'm anti-fucking what's going on over there. I am America first. I'm not fucking Israel first. In Israel, as I pointed out at the beginning of this video, are the fake Jews. They're the second race of Jews. They are killing off the actual Jews that followed Abraham. Some of them ones there in fucking Israel, Palestine, have closer bloodlines to the Jewish people that followed Abraham. That's how they ended up there. That's how them Jews ended up there. Those bloodlines are closer entwined, but yet the Israelis are trying to kill them. That's like I said, that's it's mind-boggling. But people are too lazy to look into it. They just want to believe everything that they see, everything that every person here on YouTube is talking about. Same thing. Operation Mockingbird. That's what the CIA did with the mainstream media. When it was ABC, NBC, and CBS. That's the only media they had to worry about back then. Because those stations were owned by the same people that owned all the newspapers here in America at the time. They had nobody they could deal with. Nobody else that they had to fight. They sent out the word, this is the word, this is how it's going, this is the story. But yet, the American people don't want to hear it. They don't want to, they don't want to, they're too lazy to do their own investigation, which is sad to say. If everybody was willing to get up and look, Do your own investigation. I mean, yeah, you can watch all the videos here on YouTube you want, but them videos, if they spark something in you, what it should spark is you to understand that, okay, I'm going to take this, run with it. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to understand what's going on, because one person's point of view is not the same for another person's point of view. You could read the same story they're reading, but come out with a different answer, come out with a different outcome. So it's in this. This is what people have to realize: is everything is written down. Wait, I know how to put it. In social studies, we had, when I was in school, critical thinking. This is the best way I can put it. In critical thinking, you listen to both sides of an argument. After you listen to both sides of the argument, you took your notes, you stepped back, and you thought about what you heard. And after hearing both sides of the argument, you came up with your own idea, your own thought on what you heard from the two stories and how the two stories impacted you. This is something that we were taught. It was called critical thinking. Schools don't teach that shit now. They teach you believe what you're told. But if you take both sides of a story, you can actually think for yourself. And we did this. It was a practice in social studies, once or twice a week. We'd hear two different stories, two different sides of the story. We'd have, and we critically have to critically think and come up with our own idea of what we heard. What a concept! What a way to think! If we can sit there and look at everything that's going on, we could understand and think for ourselves. We can come up with our own decision. And this is what I did since I had my first channel. This is what I've told my followers. I only put videos out to plant the seed. I plant the seed of, is this right? Is this wrong? How does this work? I try to get you to look into things yourself. And this goes on with everything that's going on around us. This government shutdown. You have to look into who benefited from what. Okay, we know the Democrats are going to benefit from, oh, look, all of you people lost your SNAP, now come vote for it. We know that the Republicans are going to are going to benefit from, hey, look, we got all these people off SNAP. Now we can go through and we can take the ones who are using it for their own good, the ones who are fucking fraudulently using the system. And that's two different sides to the government shutdown. The Democrats think they're going to pull out the vote. The Republicans think that they're going to fucking be able to save money, but we're not. Neither one of them are going to do the same thing because there's two different sides to the same coin, which is part of what I figured out when we did the critical thinking in high school. The government are the same people, but on two different sides saying different things. And it's been that way since they separated. We were all one party, but we separated over the freedom of the colored people. And that's when you got the Republicans and Democrats. But to this day, I still think that they sit there and fight on TV, they fight on camera, and then they turn around, go to the same bar, have drinks together, and say, "Hey, man, what do you want to do tomorrow? What can we get? these American people to fucking fight about tomorrow. What we need to fight about is we're the ones who's being fucked. We're the ones who's being taken over. We're the ones who's being taken advantage of. You know what I mean? And this is where I'm going to fall into the trap. This is a critical thinking that ended Charlie Kirk's life. That's how I'm going to put that. That's the kind of critical thinking. Well, it was doing the stupid stuff when I was younger that made my teeth so that I lost all my top teeth. Thank you. So it was being younger that caused me to lose my teeth to talk about adult stuff. They're clearer, dragon. But yeah, and like I was saying, it was the critical thinking, which is what we were taught back in the 80s, that got Charlie Kirk to lose his life. Because he finally started to think for himself and he stepped away from what everybody wanted him to do. Go to Turkey to fix your teeth. Ain't you a good troll? Wait till you get 56, go through a bunch of windshields and yeah, all that other stuff. But yeah, it's those are the kind of things that people don't understand. It was his freedom of his thought. Hey Brian, how you doing? Nice seeing you. I'm glad you made it in. But it was his critical thinking because you think about it. It was soon after he brought up that he wanted to use the Doge type influence to go through the money because he didn't understand where some of the money was coming into his company. He didn't understand where the money was going. He didn't understand where the money was being used. And then he started sitting back and looking at the shit that was going on overseas. And he he did the actual critical thinking. He thought about what was going on, where his money was coming from. And he knew that by going the path that he was deciding he wanted to go, he was going to lose millions. Oh, Brian, Sarah got a phone call earlier. She said she'll be back. But, and I honestly believe that is where it came from because, like I said at the beginning of the video, I've hunted with a 30-06. I've hunted with a 308. I've hunted with a 270. I've hunted small game with a fucking 22. The 06, the 308, the 270, it ain't that little bit of damage. And I don't care how much they say that he had bones of steel or whatever they want to say. The 308 maybe because a small twig can ricochet it, but it is going to come out someplace else. It's not going to shatter. The 22. That's all I'll say on the 22. Because I even know a 10 gauge, a 12 gauge, a fucking 14 gauge, a 16 gauge shotgun is going to go in big, come out big. The 06 is going to go in pinky size, come out big. 308 is going to go in pinky size, come out big. 22? I I know someone who was actually shot 3 times with a 22. They all the shots stayed inside of his body, and to this day he's still alive. So a well placed 22 shot, I could almost see that, but it has to take an excellent marksman. I mean, to shoot a 22 to be able to do that. Yeah, Clear Dragon. I learned politics from a bumper sticker. That's why I'm probably twice your age because I learned politics when we were free to talk about it and we didn't have to learn from MSNBC. And that's all I'm going to say to that one. Yeah, the 7.62 by 39. That is a that is yeah, ouch. But yeah, so a 22, I could see that coming off a vertebrae. I could see that coming off of, I mean, your bones in your neck, your bones in your back, a knife could penetrate. No, that dragon dude don't have nothing to contribute. He's a Brian, he showed up in here since I started talking about Israel. So I think he's one of them people who think I'm a Zionist until he meets me in real life and realizes that I'm not against anybody, but I'm against people who fucking do the world wrong. I'm not against the Jews, but I'm against Netanyahu. I'm not even against the Muslims, but I'm against Sharia law. Yeah, yeah, I know. My dental plan collapsed in 2008, and I've never had a dental plan. In 2008, I was fucking 40 years out of high school. 20 years, yeah, 20 years out of high school. I was still working construction. No, Brian, we're not allowed to live in peace. We're not either. I mean, they're making that more and more clear. They're trying to separate us. They're trying to start a civil war again. It's the Obama days back over. Literally, it's the Obama days back over again. Dude, I get my ID scanned all the time for cigarettes. Well, you can't see it, but there's alcohol in there, and it's so funny. They made us what? We had to get the real ID, and now they're talking about us getting the digital ID. But yet the digital ID is going to do the same thing that the real ID is done, except the only difference is our social credit score can be put on that digital ID. The amount of money we make can be put on that digital ID. And it's one of the steps they have to get to go into Agenda 2030. Which, oh yeah, hey, what's his name? Clear a Dragon. Look up Agenda 2030. Think about that one. Do some critical thinking. I know you're too young and they didn't give you that in high school, but you can do some critical thinking on that one. Used to work in, yeah, yeah, no job here either, man. I used to work in construction. Yep. Yeah, man. I worked. What was it? '84 to 2016, 17? Yeah, '84 to 2017 was my literal years of construction. Go to work, work 16 hours, get out, get drunk, go get in fights, drink with the people you got in your fights with, get up, go to work. Yeah, those were the years that I did that. But yeah, when it comes to that jab, man, do not take the jab. I didn't even take the COVID jab. I mean, and I see a lot of people who have more medical issues than I do, well, less medical issues than I do, and they're passing away left and right from that jab. I didn't get the jab, and clear a dragon, look, there ain't no teeth because I lived a meaner life than you have. Get off the dental work already. I already know I have no teeth on the top. Whoopee shit. I've been through a windshield. I've walked through walls. I've fallen off a fucking 4-story building. I've fucking been in fist fights that would probably knock your mother out and make your daddy happy. I mean, if you ain't got nothing real to contribute to this conversation, just step aside because you ain't much of a troll. But yeah, as I was saying, they try to tell you how to think and what to think. So we all have to think for ourselves. We have to do things for ourselves. That's all we can do. And I'll finish by saying once again, all of you guys who are literally putting out 2 and 3 videos a day off the loss of a fellow YouTuber, a fellow person who tried to bring peace to the world, you need to stop trying to do that. You shouldn't be making money off that. You should be putting them videos out there for free. I could have done it. Any one of us could have done it. I could have grown my channel again by doing it. But it's not worth it. It's actually a crying shame, and it makes me, like I said, I unfollowed a lot of people that have done that, especially the ones who didn't know him in real life, didn't hang out with him, didn't get the phone calls from him, and you seem to be the ones who's running that story. So with that being said, everybody, I wish you luck. Stay safe, stay alert, and always do things the way they work best for you. Thank you.